So my name is Melissa. I'm known as Meliabella, and I'm just going to catalog my weekly knitting so that I can keep myself honest and making progress. You can find me on Instagram as Meliabella, Meliabella, and you can find me on Twitter and Ravelry there as well. So what have I been knitting? Well, I finished two things. First off, I finished my mustache socks. This is the Perfect Sock Base. Hi, Stacy! In the sorting hat colorway, and I have really big feet. I have size 11 women's, and I also like a really long cuff for keeping my legs warm because I live in New England and it gets cold, and so I do about a 5-inch cuff and then a 2.5-inch heel, and this is just a standard slip stitch heel with a gusset, and then I have my huge size 11 women's feet. They are almost perfectly matched. Look at this. You can see it the whole way. All the way to the toe. I don't know what I did. I don't know what happened. I counted rows. I made sure. I didn't do any other color management. It all just worked out right up to the toe. I got so close. If you've taken one of those online quizzes about what house you are on, like for Hogwarts, I always get Gryffindor, which great, and nothing against Gryffindor, but in my heart, I'm a Slytherin. So I started with Slytherin. My heels worked out to both be Slytherin, and then my toes. I was so excited. I'm very excited to wear these. It's nice and chilly. We actually had flurries this morning. It was cold enough for a little bit of snow. Nothing stuck, thank goodness. But this is where I was last time I recorded. I was right here about to start the heel on the second sock, and this is one of my progress keepers. I call these Progress Keepers by Meliabella, and this is one of the pine cones, which Stacy from Mustache actually has. And you can find Stacy from Mustache Yarn on Instagram. She also has a great shop. The coolest thing is that her perfect sock skeins, come separate so that you can start your socks at the exact same spot. And she's been super clever and reminded people that as they wind their yarn, make the slip knot in both skeins so that as you start that second sock, you'll start it in the exact same place that you started your first sock, which was super clever. This is what I had left over. I like to put them right back into the ball band, and then my leftover sock yarn goes right into my barn raising quilt square bin. I've been working on that for a couple of years. It doesn't have like a deadline or anything. I just knit on squares when I feel like it. Usually around Christmas time I whip out a few because they're quick and easy. And this again was a sorting hat colorway, and it was 100 grams, and I had 28 grams left over. So plenty to do, most definitely my barn raising square, but then also to do a preemie hat. We've been knitting preemie hats in memory of my niece for, goodness, years. 5 years. And so if you're interested in knitting preemie hats, you can just message me. We do have a group on Ravelry and on Facebook called Project Sweet Caroline, where we knit preemie caps and donate them locally. And not so locally, we ship them out to NICUs in need. So definitely consider using your sock yarn leftovers to do that. So these are done. Super excited. Put those to the side, right? So next, I did finish the knitting on my second Grace sweater. So this is the front. You're going to see my progress keeper here. This is where I was the last time I recorded. Right up here, I was just in the very first row, I believe, of the color work. And this is by Bristol Ivy. It's called Second Grace, and this was supposed to be my third Rhinebeck sweater for this year. But with the weather being 74 degrees and the thickness of this much color work, I wasn't going to wear it. So I ended up not continuing to knit on it the week before, plus I got sick, and just ended up wearing an older sweater on Friday and then my 2 new sweaters on Saturday and Sunday, which worked out great. So the good news is I have a Rhinebeck sweater for next year all done. So here it is. It was really fun to knit. Towards the end, I did change something. I'm going to hold it so that you guys can all see it. So this row here of the pluses was supposed to be in kitten, this main color here. I ended up not doing that because I didn't have a lot of kitten left. I had 4 skeins to do the body, and I ended up with only a tiny bit left. And I knew I wanted to do the top neck out of kitten, and then the underarms of the sweater, she has you bind off rather than keeping them live and Kitchener-ing, which I were to knit it again, I would have just kept them live and Kitchenered them, but I knew I needed yarn to Kitchener, so this tiny little bit is all I had left. So I ended up going with the Moorland there, and I'm very pleased with it, bringing back in that green. The other thing that I changed, oh, I didn't do, there was supposed to be a band, one row of Moorland up here right before the ribbing at the top of the neck, and I just decided that I didn't want to do that. I wanted to just keep it plain because I had that Moorland right there. So I'm really pleased with it. I said the knitting is done because the knitting is done, but the finishing is not yet done. My plan was to do it last night after I recorded my initial Instagram feed, but my YouTube feed kept erroring out, and what I didn't know is I hadn't downloaded an update from YouTube. Live and learn. All the technical aspects of vlogging. So I didn't get a chance to sit down and do this, so that's what I'm going to do after this, if everything works out. I have all these ends to weave in, and then the ends at both sleeves, all that color work, and then at the waist. So I am very happy with it. It worked out. I had enough yarn, and I had plenty of all the other yarns left over. I'll just hold up my little basket of them here. Plenty of yarns left over, so plenty of hats to knit in the future or other color work to save them for later on. This was all Madras vintage. I used Kitten for the body, Hosta blue, Astrid gray, daffodil, charcoal, Moorland, and then this tomato red, which actually has a lot of orange hints to it, is Jill Draper in the heirloom tomato, and I believe it's the Empire base. And I had this in my stash left over from a hat design that I did. It's called the First Flakes hat. There's also a headband that goes with it, and you can look at that on Ravelry. It's available there for purchase. So I've gotten a hat, a yoke on a sweater, and potentially some mitts. There's still a lot left here out of this skein, so Jill Draper definitely gets you some yardage. It's great. So that sweater is done. I just need to do the finish work with my tiny little bit of kitten left over here. So that is on the docket for as soon as I am done here. So what's on the needles now? Well, I had to cast on some socks. I love to have socks on the needles. It keeps me, you know, my hands busy if I'm waiting in line at the post office or at a really long red light or stuck in traffic. I can sit and knit a few rows or stitches. If I'm stuck in a meeting, it's something I don't have to think about, and I can just pull it out and knit. So I cast on a pair of ankle socks, which I've never knit before. I decided to just make up a quick pattern to make some ankle socks to wear with my Dansko clogs, and I'm wearing a lot of like tapered legs, skinny-esque jeans to work just because they're comfortable. And we're in our reading season now, so not really skinny jeans, but slacks, I guess. So I cast on with the skein of Miss Bab's Hot Shot that I purchased at Rhinebeck in the Rhinebeck colorway, and she gives you a ton of yardage. It is 400 yards, which will be plenty, especially for ankle socks. I might even get 2 pair. And I'm currently, sorry, in the middle of a row, but I just cast on 64 stitches, did 2x2 rib for about a 1/2 inch, knit for another inch, just plain stockinette, and then went right into my heel, which is just a standard slip stitch heel with a gusset. I'm doing the gusset decreases now, and I'm already into the foot. So these are going to just crank out super fast. And this is that Rhinebeck colorway. And the neat thing about Miss Babs is that all of her skeins are super different. So I purchased the skein of sock and then 2 skeins of Yowza, and one of the Yowzas was for Karen, who's Ale Carriel from Round the Twist. She didn't get to go this year, hopefully next year. And so I picked up a skein for her, and then my skein of Yowza. They look like completely different colorways. So that's what I really like about Miss Babs, is every skein is completely unique. Even if it does have the same base colors for the dye lots, they take things differently, which is super fun. So this has a turquoise, a purple, a light blue, a green, a burnt orange, and a little bit of a golden browny yellow, which is really fun. So that is the first sock, and this is what it looks like in the cake. Isn't that pretty? Love it. And then this is in my Knit 2 Together Progress bag, which I got as a kit this summer. I just love these colors, and her bags are super cute. They have a divider inside with a little zipper and yarn guides, and then a cute little drawstring, and then the tabs that you can pull open, which I love. Absolutely love that. So I've been working on those. And the next thing I'm going to cast on is in my Fat Squirrel bag that I bought at Needles Up while we were in Rhinebeck this year. And this is the test that I'm doing for Kirsten Kapoor. This is called September House, and I have to cast this on today. It is a must. She is releasing the pattern in a month. I'm essentially just testing yardage. She's already knit the pattern a few times herself and had it tech edited. I'm just checking yardage for her. And these are the colors. I'm using Shepherd's Wool Stonehenge from Stonehenge Fiber Mills. And it's just a standard heathered gray, a wheat heathered, and then a cream. The main body is going to be gray, and then it's going to go right into the wheat, and then the color work portions are in the cream. So I'm really excited to cast that on, and it's on size 8 and 9 needles, so it's going to zoom. And then this is a picture of the sweater in the yarn that she made the kit. I'm not going to be doing this bottom hem portion of the color work, but I will do this little bit here on the sleeve. And then, so my body will be gray, and then I'll go into the gold where that blue and purple starts, but the cream will be the color work, the whole portion up. So I'm excited to cast that on, and I already have my Progress Keeper here ready to go. This is my Crystal Daisy Progress Keeper, which is still my very favorite one out of all of them. So that is ready to go. I went to New England Fiber Festival with my family. We've been going for the last few years. We used to go with my mom, but she bought a retirement house, and so she spends her weekends up there now. So she didn't come with us. That's good, because I picked her up a Christmas present, which I'm not going to show in case she watches for some reason. But I did go to Katrinkles, which if you follow her on Instagram, you know that she makes laser cut buttons and notions. So I'm going to be knitting the branches and buds for Rhinebeck for next year out of Miss Babs Topaz. Oh, that's perfect. That is the exact color. Yeah, lighting win. I'll take it. And so this is the Miss Babs Yowza, which has a ton of yardage. And when you go to a festival, when they put out the racks, they do at least 3 colors of the same skein, which were all dyed at the same time. So if you want a sweater's worth, and you're anywhere from like a 28 bust to a 42, in most cases 3 skeins might be enough. So you can grab those 3 skeins of that color to at least do the body if you're doing a color work, or to maybe do a whole sweater. So I grabbed 3 of these, and then I grabbed a skein of Primrose, which I shared the last time I recorded, in Snow Owl to do the color work. And this will be my branches and buds. So this will be the branches. And I'm just sharing this so that you can see I picked up the buttons that I'm going to use to do the buds. I decided I didn't want to do the actual buds. I saw a ton of branches and buds sweaters at Rhinebeck this year, and they were all lovely. But what I noticed was the embellishment buds, so the actual hand-sewn embellishments, were quite small, and they didn't pop the way that I wanted them to. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to put these buttons on and then use different colored threads or yarns, I'm undecided, to sew them on so that those pop with a bit of color, but the buttons are only going to be on the front. I'm going to use about 6, and I'm really excited about that, and so that'll be a Rhinebeck sweater for next year. Another thing that I purchased from her booth is this super cute little sheep. Here he comes. He's super cute. They were telling me in the booth about how they intended them to like have yarn wrapped around them, and then you just make a tie, and it can go on your Christmas tree as an ornament or decor in your home or whatever. I'm going to use this to take pictures of my hand spun. So I'll wrap my hand spun around it and take pictures of it so that I have it for my stash, which I'm excited about. Plus, how cute. So cute. And then the last thing I bought at that booth is just this little tiny button. It says Made with Love, and it has a little heart on it. And she does this neat thing where she does multiple holes so that you can kind of knit how you want, or sew the yarn on in different ways to kind of make it unique. So there's all these different ways you can sew the yarn on, and she has them on her website and her Instagram where you can see that. But I'm going to use it on the corner, on the brim of a hat that I'm working on designing. I thought it'd just be a cute little thing. But she also does individual orders. So if you want to do a custom order for a bunch of buttons, maybe you want to do a bunch of gifts, or you're a vendor or a designer, you can get in touch with her and she'll make you custom buttons, which I thought was super nice and super cute. Here is her card, and it talks about the care instructions. but she's just at katrinkles.com, and she's also Katrinkles on Instagram, which is where I found out about her. But she's been at Fiber Festival for at least 2 years, and she often will also have items in Dirty Water Dye Works booths at festivals if you see them there. Other thing that I didn't show you from Rhinebeck, but I'm going to show you now just because I picked up another one at the New England Fiber Festival, is this picture of these alpacas. This is a local artist to us. His name is Madras, and we have a beautiful new wall in our house, well, our new house here. We're going to frame these all in black frames and put them on the wall and make a tradition out of every year at Rhinebeck or every year at the New England Fiber Festival picking one up. So we picked one up at Fiberfest, and then we picked up 2 at Rhinebeck that I didn't get to show you because they were already with the frames waiting to be framed as I throw them on the floor. But we purchased my grandparents' house. They passed a while ago, but we purchased their house from our family in July. And my Grammy's and my favorite animal is a moose. How cute is he? So we had to get a moose to hang up in memory of my Grammy. He just has so much spunk and personality. Look at those lips. Oh, I just love him. So I'm going to frame that one as well. And then this is the one that we picked up at Rhinebeck. And this was actually the promo piece for the New England Fiber Festival, which is usually 2 weekends after Rhinebeck at the Biggie Fairgrounds in West Springfield, Massachusetts. And look at him. Isn't he regal? And this is a very quintessential New England wall. We have these all over the place. The farmers, as they plow their fields and the frost pushes the rocks up, they would then go take the rocks and put them on their property lines. And so we see these all over the place up here. And Robert Frost, who's also local to us, has written a poem about it called Good Walls Make Good Neighbors. Mending Wall. It's called Mending Wall. And it's all about how walls make good neighbors because you have boundaries. It's a really good poem. So yeah, this reminds me very much of home and where we live, and I love it. So if you ever get a chance to check him out, I know he does a lot of different fiber festivals. He also goes to Mass Sheep and Wool, which is in May on Memorial Day weekend in Cummington, Mass, which is a very small festival. But what's really great about that festival, and I don't think I've ever talked about that, is instead of just kind of having a sheepdog demonstration, they actually have championships there where they do the sheepdog trials. So you can go and watch people compete with their sheepdogs herding sheep. It's so cool. So if you ever get the chance to go, I definitely recommend it just for that alone. We love going. So yeah, that's all the stuff I bought. I didn't buy any yarn. I am having a little bit of non-buyer's remorse. There were some skeins from On the Round that I wish that I had purchased for a boxy sweater. I'm really liking the dolman sleeve right now, as you can tell from my t-shirt. But I didn't because I have at least 8 sweaters worth of yarn in here already to knit. So I decided to slow my roll and not get it. But I am having a little bit of non-buyer's remorse on that. So the plan now is to do the finish work on that second grace, to continue on with my ankle socks, and to cast on my September house as soon as possible. I'd also like to get some spinning in before I talk with you guys again. So I need to make that a priority as well. I haven't touched my wheel in a little bit, and it's right there if you can see it. I also have a mini spinner, so I need to make some time, maybe even just 10 minutes a day. I'll try and work on that. So thanks for checking in with me. I do have pattern designs on Ravelry as Meliabella, and I also have my progress keepers on Etsy at etsy.com/shop/Meliabella, Meliabella. So do check them out. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great day.